Welcome, Evie Hernandez.
Well, hello. I needed to ask Daryl that I needed some help with some music. I should have told you that I wanted you to put some music, some cool music, to show me the money.
Cash money, baby.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thank you for that introduction, Mercedes. I don't often get everybody reading all that stuff right from my website, so thank you. Let's give her a round of applause for that. So, the title of our talk, 3 Secrets to Attract, Capture, Convert Affluent Leads Now. By a show of hands, can I see how many of you like to work with the affluent? Okay, not everybody, just a few, okay? So that's fine. And by a show of hands, can I see how many of you need leads? Not everybody, just a few. Okay. Gabriel, can you put the next slide? Thanks. Oh, we're having technical difficulties. By the way, just so that you know, you don't have to take any notes because whoever would like to get the PowerPoint, take out your smartphone right now, if you will, please. And if you know how to text, I want you to text the word lead gen, Leadgen, to 22838. And that will let me know that you want the slides. Sounds good? Good. Now, I want...
Can you repeat it again?
Sure. I'm going to show you in a little bit. I just did it ahead of time because I wanted to make sure that you all got it. 22838, right? That's the number? 228. Oh, there you go. 228. 28. Thank you. And by the way, if you would be so kind, this huge potato chips. I ran out of potato chips, so I brought this. I'm just kidding. So you can put your business cards, please. I'm going to have a drawing at the end. Awesome. So this talk is actually based on the upcoming 7-hour it's a boot camp. And the reason why I say that is because I'm writing a book called Attract, Capture, Convert Affluent Clients Now. And so I'm actually doing a pre-launch event for those of you that do your own marketing. Can I see by a show of hands how many of you do all your own marketing? Okay, and now the rest of you, can you just raise your hand and let me know, does someone do your marketing for you? And then the rest of you, what do? You just figure it out? Okay, well, what I'm going to talk today, I'm going to talk about 3 secrets. How many? 3. I'm going to give you 3 secrets, which if you like, you can make some notes, but like I said, I'll be more than happy to share my slides with you. So she already told you a little bit about me, so I'm going to kind of go through this, a little bit about the companies that I have worked with. Here are some of the companies that I have worked with locally. Of course, I teach everywhere, so if you have an organization that would like to bring me to speak to the organization, kindly let me know at the end. I'll be more than happy to come out and speak for your group. And so here's what we do at Xoominar. Xoominar stands for Zoom Internet Marketing. And as our slogan said, what we do is we help small businesses get found, get leads, and get results. Now when I say get found, what does that make you think immediately? How are you going to get found? Anybody? Who said internet? Okay, awesome. Jeanette, okay, good. Jeanette said, so what we focus on is helping small business get found organically. Now, what does that mean, helping small business get found organically? Anybody?
Internet search.
Organically, what does that mean? Help me, Jessica, right?
Organically, meaning like real followers.
Like real followers, that's true. And also we mean, there's a little company that the colors, I copied their colors.
Google.
Who said Google? What's your name?
Patty.
Patty, thank you. So how many of you, when you need to find something, you go to Google? Okay, so of course, not something that you know from here, because if you know somebody here, you just call them, right? I'm talking outside of the room, right? Okay, good. Did I do my job right, Daryl? Okay, good. You give me my $1 later for, okay, good. Yeah, that's why you have this here. But when you don't know, then what do? You go online and you Google it, true? And guess what? What we have found for most small businesses, that most people nowadays, how do you think they find most of their clients? Just shout it out. Internet, online, how else? Social media, what else?
Referral.
Who said referral? Who was the first one? And your name, sir? Jim. Thank you, Jim. And so here's the deal. For small businesses, what they have found, and this is actually research from the Wharton School of Business, which seems to be one of the top business schools in the United States, they say that it is through word of mouth and internet marketing. Now, how does that look like in real life? Word of mouth, internet marketing. Well, I'll tell you how it looks like for me. A few weeks ago, I had a really, really bad toothache. You know, the kind that you're just in a bad mood, you don't want to talk to anybody? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, and by the way, just in case you're wondering about my accent, I'm originally from New Jersey, so that's where my accent is from. And so, what happened was that I decided to ask my friends if they knew a dentist nearby. And what do you think I asked my friends? Jessica, I'm going to pick on you because you do social media. I went to Facebook, right? And so I asked them, and I put a little picture, of a tooth decaying, because I wanted to get people's reaction, right? A little cute picture. And of course, immediately I got 10 people immediately responding who their dentist was. And of course, I picked the closest one to my home, and I went to that dentist. Now, is that internet marketing, or is that word of mouth on the internet? Right? And that's what we're doing. How many of you can relate to that? Right? So that's what we want to tell you, as for you to remember that today people are doing that. And how do we do it at Zoom IM? We have what is called the Zoom IM lead generation system, which is a process of attracting organic traffic. Because how many of you have a website? And how many of you know how many people last year said, hey, that's a great website. That's how I found you. I didn't know you, but I found you through your website. A few of you. How many of you would like to get found more through your website? So here's the deal. What we have found is there's two types of clients. How many? And what kind of clients are those? Those that know you and those that what? Don't know you. So those that know you, what do they usually do if they know, like, and trust you? Say it again. They'll refer you, right? Because they know, like, and trust you. Now, what happened to those that don't know you? They research you. They look for you. And they usually look for you organically. True or true? So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have an optimized website so that when people are looking for specific words, they can find you on that search engine, that little search engine that's called Google. And so first thing of attracting people to your website, because nowadays your website is like your storefront. Did you know that? And it's better than a storefront, right? Why? Because you don't have to pay as big a fee to keep a store, true, especially on like a high traffic area. But it's also like your 24 hours, 7 days a week employee. Now, how many of you have an employee right now that works for you 24/7? Anybody? Okay. You do?
Myself.
Yourself. Interesting. What's your name? Jay. So, Jay, here's what I'm going to tell you. One of the things that we like to teach people is how to get organized so that you have a short and long-term goal. And the reason for that is because when you're organized, then you can choose what's going to be your exit strategy. Do you want to sell your business? Do you want to leave it to your children? Okay, or do you want to delegate all your business and kind of receive the profits at home or while you're on vacation? And the reason why I say that is because usually I quote a saying that says most entrepreneurs will work 80 hours for themselves so they don't have to work 40 hours for someone else. Is that true for you? Because that's what I heard when you said that.
I never worked for anybody, so.
Okay.
But I still do 80 hours.
There you go. So this is what this is about. When you have a system, and that is the key word I want you to remember. When you have a system, what you want to do is work smarter and not harder. Because how many of you like the sound of that? I like to work smarter, not harder. True? Or some of us like to work really hard. Okay, that's fine. You can work hard then. So the system is to help you attract organic traffic, capture people's interest. Because really, isn't there a lot of advertising? Isn't there a lot of noise out there? Right? Disturbing noise sometimes, right? So we can't always focus, and we're not always paying attention. And lastly, you want to convert suspects into qualified leads or clients. Because a lot of people, when I ask them, who's your ideal client? Right? Everybody says, oh yeah, show me the money. I want affluent clients, right? But really, you have to find out a little bit more about your client. And that's when I ask people, you have to know what they want versus what you want. What they want and what they need. Because be it in social media or on your website's blog, you have to know your audience. Who are you targeting? So if you want to target the affluent, then one of the things you have to know is, where are they? Even if, let's say, we were talking just about social media, are the affluent on Facebook or LinkedIn? Who knows? Who said that? Your name? Carmen? LinkedIn. What would make you say LinkedIn? Exactly. How many of you knew that? So that's something that you know and you want to put in practice. And now, having said that, I want you to think of, and there's the 22838, right? Somewhere there. Go ahead. Go ahead. Next. Go ahead. Okay, because how many of you have ever found yourself looking like this woman? Confused and dazed and wondering, what am I supposed to do? One of the main reasons why I know that small business owners are confused is because there's so much out there. So as a consumer, we have a lot of advertising, true? I mean, really, some places you can't even go to the bathroom because when you close the bathroom door, what do you have? An advertising piece, right? So you don't even have peace in a public bathroom anymore, right? So it's very confusing as consumers, but as business owners, it gets kind of confusing too. Because someone may say, hey, I'm going to give you this, whatever, you want to do an ad, business size, on my newspaper or my magazine, just for $100. Will you do it? And you're like, okay, $100. Then someone says, hey, listen, I'm going to do this for you. Oh, just another $100. And then at the end of the year, you're like, man, I did all these little things, which are called tactics, without having a strategy. And that's the part that I want you to remember as your first secret. S before T. Now, what does that mean? It's strategy before tactics. Why is that important? Why is that important? Barbara, right?
Yeah.
Why is that important?
Strategy. You don't want to spend money on things that are not necessary and not going to bring you a return.
True, but how many of you have ever taken a road trip? Road trip? Road trip. And if you didn't have, that was before, what is your name? Miriam, what do you use, MapQuest or some app on your phone? And before that, you used to use a map. Okay. Now, if you decided you wanted to go to New Jersey, this is so cool going to New Jersey, or New York, whatever. Okay. Would you just take off and say, you know what? I'm just going to let the road take me. Would you do that?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't know where I'm going.
But what? You're a cool girl. You're in the event planning business, right? So you would have a map, right? So it's the same thing, my friends. We need to have strategies before tactics. It's been way too long that small business owners will focus just on tactics. Oh, I'm going to do this. Or everybody's doing social media. Or everybody's doing Facebook. Oh my goodness. So let me ask you something. What does having 1,000 Facebook likes do for you? Anybody? Why? Why doesn't it do anything? This is your like by 1,000 people. 1,000 people think you're cool. What does that mean to you? Why doesn't it mean anything? There's nothing behind it. So I want to encourage you, so if you decide, because people tell me all the time, oh Evie, I don't know what to do. There's so many of these. Which one do I go? LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't know which one. Twitter, WhatsApp, or whatever. What do I do? And I tell people, number one, focus on your main business. What's your main business? What's your main business? Shout it out.
Surveys.
Whatever your business is. If you're a DJ, you're a DJ. If you are an event planner. If you're doing weddings, then do wedding. That's your main business. Your secondary business is what? Marketing. And by the way, advertising is different from marketing. Do you know why? Why? The gentleman there. He is there. He's responding.
Advertising, marketing. Is that what the question is?
Yes. What's the difference in your mind for you, for your perception?
Marketing is when you put a product out there and people come to that product and buy it from you. Advertising is an aid to selling, where you're trying to push products out.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. Give him a hand. Woo! Thank you. And you know what? For me, there's a big difference. And now what we do at Xoominar is called marketing. Do you know what marketing is? Smart marketing. Well, actually, that's part of it. It's sales marketing. And the reason for that, he said something very interesting. He said advertising is about pushing. Now, how many of you like to be pushed? Or how many of you love it when you're shopping and someone says, "Excuse me, may I help you?" What do you say? "Oh, thanks, I'm just looking." Or, you're being nice. You want to say, "Leave me alone. What do you want from me?" Right? But you say, "No, thank you." So guess what? We are all consumers inundated by a world of advertising. Because if you think about it, this great company called Google that started as a search engine, what is it really? It's an advertising platform. The number one product, and the reason why Google still exists, is called Google AdWords, pay-per-click. They're an advertising platform. What about this other wonderful social platform called Facebook? What is that? What is it?
Social media.
Really? Is this social media? It's actually an advertising platform. This year more than ever, you're going to see that. Okay, as Facebook is growing and buying more companies and really presenting itself as a strong advertising platform. So you have to realize that, because even on social media, people, or so-called social media, are pushing things, right? And so the question is, in a world where everybody's pushing advertising, how do I attract people to me? Well, of course you can get plastic surgery and become prettier, right? I'm kidding. So serious. You! You. She's like, "Okay, I'm talking to you." Well, and of course, you can have a strategy that dictates who your ideal person that you are going after is. So the first secret is strategies before tactics, and also think short-term versus long-term. I always talk about this in my talks, because, and I always talk in analogies of two. Why? Well, because I think it's easier to remember. So I want you to remember something. What is your short-term and what is your long-term strategy? And you may be wondering, well, Evie, that's me, Evie, just in case you didn't catch that. You may be saying, well, Evie, what do you mean short-term, long-term? What I mean by this, how many of you have been in business less than 5 years? How many of you have been in business more than 5 years? How many of you, by a show of hands, have a system where now you don't have to do any advertising, because you naturally have a system that naturally attracts people to you? One gentleman only. Thank you. Sir, what's your name? Bob? Mark. Thank you, Mark. One. And how many people do we have here? Daryl, how many people do we have?
About 55.
55, thank you. So out of 55, Mark is the only one that has a system that naturally attracts people, and he doesn't have to do any advertising or chase after anyone. And actually, that's what I see in most places that I go. A few weeks ago, I was in another talk that I did, and I asked, and one gentleman said, "I've been in this business 30 years. And what do? I call people, I cold call, I knock on doors." And I said, "And you've been at this for 30 years? He says, "Yeah." And I said, "How much longer are you going to do that?" He's like, 30 more years. And I'm like, whoa, tenacious. Well, good for you, I told him. And I said, wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to work so hard? If you had a system in place so that in 5 years, you could attract people more naturally. In 5 years, you could get more referrals. In 5 years, you could create more loyalty with your existing database where your clients loved you so much that they would do repeat business. How many of you get a lot of repeat business from the families or from the same people that you already service? Awesome, more hands, very good. And so there's two ways you can do this. I said short-term and long-term. Short-term, of course, you gotta survive, you gotta make money, you gotta pay your mortgage, you gotta pay your employees, right? Long-term, you wanna decide, what do I wanna do with this business? Am I gonna give it to somebody? Am I gonna give it to my children? Am I gonna sell it? Do I wanna work 80 hours? Or do I wanna work 40 hours? You know, so you have to develop short-term and long-term. Short-term, cash in your pocket. Long-term, perhaps is do the business easier. And so the first thing is you have to have a strategy. Because I want you to imagine for a second how your business would look if you could increase the amount of referrals you get. So think about it. Short-term referrals. You know, one of my biggest accounts is Signorama. How many of you know Signorama? It's a franchise. I work with a lot of franchise owners. So one of the things that I notice is that a lot of them that I work with have been in business for a while, right? And they know a lot of people. And they've done business with a lot of people. So one of my franchise owners, one of my success stories, I started working with him. He didn't have a database. How many of you have a database of your clients? And I don't mean, you know, where you do the invoicing for them. That's not what I mean. I mean like a customer relationship management program, something like that. What is your name?
Melda.
Melda?
Melda.
Melga? Did I kill your name?
You did. But that's okay. You're from Jersey too.
Hello! How you doing? So, what do you have? What do you use?
Well, my daughter does it for me.
Okay, but it's nice, it's organized. I was telling a gentleman outside that last year I had two clients, one that had machinery and one that had a database, and I refer them to one of these people that sell businesses, a business broker, and I asked, I said, who do you think is going to be able to sell their business? He says, well, the guy that has the machinery is totally disorganized. He never had any organization. He doesn't really have a book of business. The lady, okay, who has a book of business, that business I think I could sell. Because she's very organized and she has a book of business. She can actually show that she's been doing business. Guys, my point here is how organized is your business? Do you have a system? Are you starting to understand the importance of having a system for your business? You know, Mercedes mentioned, I don't just do marketing. I tell people that I'm a certified business coach because I look at your overall business and I look at your overall business strategy to see where you are and where you want to be and how I can help you move along, if that's what you want to do. Or if you're like the gentleman that had been in business for 30 years and I asked him, what are you going to do? 30 more years. Open the door, you know? So it's up to you. So imagine what your business would look like if you increase revenues by 20%. Do you imagine that? Now, with you guys, I don't know if you have a lot of overhead. This is different. When I talk to my franchisees owners at Signorama, some of them are 20%, some of them are 40% in terms of what their, sales over profit. And you have to think, well, my time. How much of my time am I putting? How much income am I generating year after year? How was I doing last year versus this year? Compare. How many of you are doing that on a regular basis? So you can continue increasing. Awesome. So with a system, you will see that you will consistently drive more business. Does that make sense? So how many of you can tell me how many referrals you got last year? The photographer friend of mine I was talking to before. What is your name again?
Yeah.
Tell me, how many people referred you business last year?
Probably 5.
5 referrals. So wouldn't it be nice that instead of 5 a year, you would be able to get 5 maybe every 3 months, then 5 every 2 months, and 5 a month? It would be nice, right? So a referral program. How many of you have created some sort of referral program that when you're talking to someone here, you can concisely tell them, listen, this is what my referral program is all about. Some of you do, and some of you don't. Well, I encourage you, if you're not sure, talk to me, because that's one of the things that I like to help small businesses do. Now, when is it easier to get customers? When they're referred to you, or when is it better? Referral. So the easiest, fastest, short-term goal for you, and that's why you're here, is to say, how can I develop stronger referral partners, and how can I make not just the people here in my organization my rainmakers, but every customer. Do you know that you have the potential to make every customer a referral partner? If you had a referral program, you can. Wondering how? Talk to me at the end and I'll tell you how. And so, next slide. So how many of you know how much one lead or one client, one customer is worth to you? Who could tell me? Just shout it out. One. Mercedes.
5,000.
5,000. Now the question is that 5,000 a month, 5,000 a year, or 5,000 lifetime?
It's once.
Once. And the reason why I ask is because you really want to look, Gabriel, you really want to look at what is your return on investment. And here's something for you to think about when you get the slides. I want you to do this at home. Think about your average ticket for one new customer, 5,000. And then think about the profit, you know. Is that all profit? Or was there other expenses that you incurred as a result of that? Then how often do they buy from you? Because you may do somebody's wedding and then all of a sudden if someone in that family has a sweet 16, a 15, right? So you have to put all that in. And the reason why I tell you that is going back to the referral. We all know it takes more time to warm up a suspect than it does someone you just did business with, right? If you did a great wedding, Mercedes, right? People are happy, and more likely than not, at that moment, you say, who do you know? By the way, famous words to remember for all of you. Who do you know? Come on, repeat after me. Who do you know? You think it's silly? Seriously, imagine just that little secret. If you ask everybody, by the way, who do you know who's getting married this year? By the way, who do you know who's having a quince this year? By the way, who do you know who runs corporate parties at your company? By the way, who do you know who likes to party? And I can help them, Estelle. So, what's the words? Who do you know? So remember those. Who do you know? So, how many of you know right now where your clients are coming from? You could say, well, this month I closed 5 clients. The lady there. What is your name, ma'am? Nancy. Nancy. Tell me. Last year, where did most of your clients come from?
They all come from the venues that I work with.
From the venues. Awesome. And you know that with certainty.
Yes.
Awesome. And that's what you want to know. You want to know where are they coming from. So that's awesome, Nancy, that you know. Now, would it be possible that you could expand that and have not just 1, but 5? And I don't mean venues, but I mean revenue sources. Wouldn't it be great? And that's why having a system is so important. Because isn't it true that when we have something good, we don't put too much effort and then we're like, oh, you know, I got that source of coming in. So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. True or true? But we do. Because it's always good to have resources coming from other referral partners. So I want you to examine this and take a look and see where are people coming from and what do I need to do to improve upon it. Because these are possible referral sources for all of us. Where are yours coming from? How many of you that said you have a database are keeping in touch with your clients on a regular monthly basis? Just a few of you. Did you know that in November, Forbes magazine published that email marketing is one of the less expensive, most cost-effective way for small businesses to generate leads in 2015? And now I'm going to tell you, this was a surprise to me, which by the way, you saw that I'm a constant contact partner. Mercedes mentioned it too. But I've been with Constant Contact since 2008. I didn't know that. I was like, really? You mean I have such a great tool? And I started researching other companies. And the reason why I did that, because then I started looking and I said, wow, what kind of return have I gotten through email marketing? Believe me, it goes back to what I said to you about warm leads, about referrals. Now, how many of you want to be part of a newsletter? Nobody. Few people, some people. Most people don't. So what do you have to do to keep people interested? You have to be interesting. So you have to know your audience, and you have to be interesting. So offer, here's the word, value. What can you offer value? You know, right here, I mean, you guys have Constant Contact, of course, for the group. But imagine if you don't know what to put in your email list, and get together with some of your referral partners and write one newsletter together, and you all collaborate, and you all send it to your respective list. And one is a professional in this, you know, and don't make it long. 1 tip each. It could be for wedding. Here are my 5 tips. 1 coming from the DJ. Here's the tip. 1 coming from you as the planner. You're putting it together. 1 from lighting. 1 from whatever, photography. 1 from videography. And there, before you know it, you have 100 words. And it's just tips and secrets from your colleagues that you put together. So when you're thinking, think outside the box. Think, instead of competition, collaboration. How can you collaborate with your colleagues, with your referral partners, so that you create win-win for everybody? I know you all know this. I know some of you are saying, I already know all this stuff, right? It's okay. It's not about knowing it. It's about taking a few things, maybe 1, 2, or 3, and walking out that door and saying, you know what? What made sense to me is that I want to do better next year than I am this year, and I want to work less. I want to work smarter. And so for me, I'm going to take these 3 tactics, these 3 secrets, and that's what I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to improve upon. Make sense? Go ahead, pass that. So next, you'll click it right there. So the slide that I was showing you, this is what I was talking to you about, and you'll see this when you get this slide deck, word of mouth and internet. Go ahead. Here is where we focus more on getting found, because of course we want to decrease your average advertising spend and make it more cost effective for you. So we're always talking about cost effective ways of helping the small business owner. So within what we use, which one of the tools of course is Constant Contact, we use Constant Contact because it affords us all these things that are of course within our system, within our strategy for our business and how we do business with other business owners. So the first secret, strategic marketing plan. And now the second secret, we're going to go right through these. Everybody's not your customer, by the way. So the second secret is define your target market. I know you've already heard that before, but all the time I get people telling me everybody's your customer. Not true. Not true. Everybody's not your customer. Today, I went into an office, unrelated to this, but it was, she had photography all over her office. It was captivating to me. It was photography of a lady who she does business with that does newborn baby photos, and they're all different. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. And she's advertising them through the office, but what a beautiful way. She made the office beautiful, and of course she had all her information there, and because the photos were so captivating, I had to ask, who are these photos from? I wanted to know. So I tell you this because she knows that that lady can send her, mothers, because she does business with a lot of women, and she does these baby photographies. So, I didn't get into details, but she gave her all that when she opened her office to make it pretty, but it's captivating. So think about that. Who is your ideal customer? Who is your ideal referral partner? Not everyone is. Whether it is, like I said, for social media, thinking, hey, if I'm targeting the affluent, are they on Facebook or are they on LinkedIn? To, gee, am I targeting everyone, or do I want to be a specialist for weddings or for, for Sweet 16? Narrow it down and become a specialist. Go ahead. Go ahead, we're going to go through these. So I said, know your ideal client. And the third secret, I know I gave you more than 3, is the referral system. Have a referral system, like I said. Have a referral system so everyone can be a referral partner. All your customers can be referral partners. How does that look like for a photographer? If you're a photographer and you do beautiful photography and you just did someone's 616, you say, well, who do you know? By the way, who do you know who will also have another Sweet 16 running? Because who do you think that Sweet 16 girl knows? Other girls who are turning 16. So then, even when you're booking them, you could even say, by the way, who do you know? Even right there, when they're signing the first check, you say, by the way, who do you know? You haven't even done their pictures for the Sweet 16. And you're asking, by the way, who do you know? Because more likely than not, true, they know someone who a month later or a month before you get to shoot theirs, someone's having a Sweet 16, right? So, what are you going to say? By the way,
Who do you know?
who do you know? And one of the best things when you make your clients your referral partner, guys, is that you build loyalty. Because someone else may ask them, who do you know? When they need a DJ, when they need a planner. And what are they going to say? Oh, by the way, go to Mercedes. Or by the way, go to Daryl. Because I did business with them. That's who I know. Okay? Make sense? So I'm going to run through these a little bit. I want you to think about what kind of business owners are you? Are you a do-it-yourself? How many of you are do-it-yourself? How many of you like other people to do things for you? And how many of you like to work in collaboration? Some of you are all 3. That's okay. The reason why I ask you is because most of you small business owners, solo owners. Solo owners, okay. So you don't have all the time in the world, or do you? You don't, right? So then you have to decide, do I have more time or do I have more money? Why do I say that? Because if you have more time, then guess what? You have to do your own marketing. True or true? So one of the things that I want to talk to you, and then I'm done, because someone, I'm not going to look at you, was yawning, but I saw you from the side of my eye. Go ahead. So I'm going to get into how I can help you. Whether you are a do-it-yourself, done for you, or done with me, I want you to think about where your business is today and where you want it to go. Forward. And here's where we're going to stay. And the reason why I say that is because I mentioned at the very beginning, this is a free view temptation. I'm trying to tempt you like, was it Jennifer? Jennifer, right, with the little treats out there? She's the one with the little treats? The one on the board. Is it her name, Jennifer? Stephanie. I changed her name. Stephanie. She was trying to tease me. And then the one with the cookies, she said, take it for later. See right there? She gave me a cup. I'm like, I don't want any cookies. She's like, no, take it for later. So today I'm teasing you for 2 reasons. A, because I really want you to take a real strong look at your business and be serious about it. And you know what? Let's do this right now, and then I'll be closing. I want you to pull your chair back for a second. Pull your chair back, and I want you to look at your feet. And women, don't start looking at your pedicure and say, geez, I need a pedicure. I got you. Okay, take a look at your feet for a second. Go ahead, take a look at your feet. And I want you to say this to yourself. Do I want to be in the same place next year? If not, then you have to have a strategy, my friends.